In 1888, the schooner Brendel approached French Pass, a channel located between the New Zealand islands. Due to the rocks and strong currents, this area has always been considered incredibly dangerous for any ship. The crew had a serious challenge ahead of them, but soon the sailors noticed a dolphin, which began guiding the ship through a narrow channel. No shipwreck happened that day. It was weird. But that's not the only case. Marine creatures have been helping people for hundreds of years. How and why do they do it? Let's find out. To understand the reasons why marine animals act like that, we have to start from a seemingly unrelated matter. You'll get it later. This creature is the ocean sunfish. It looks pretty funny, like a child's drawing of a fish, though it does exist in real life and can weigh up to 2 tons. The female of the species can produce up to 300 million eggs at a time. In short, that's quite an interesting fish. Like other animals, the sunfish suffers from parasites. Scientists have documented more than 50 species that live both inside and outside of this fish. The problem is, it's very hard to get rid of parasites when you look like this, so the sunfish asks birds for help. It floats close to the surface of the ocean and waits for seagulls to start ripping parasites from its body. It's a win-win for everyone. The seagulls have lunch, and the back of the fish is no longer itchy. That was a good deal. But what about this guy? I mean, it's obviously not a seagull, but you know what? The sunfish doesn't care. It got used to exploiting birds or smaller fish for cleaning. Besides, it's quite calm, so a human will do just fine. Yes, there's a reason this man just saddled a huge fish. For the sunfish, this is a typical mutually beneficial cooperation. And it liked it so much it even returned to the guy's boat to get some more attention and get rid of parasites, and probably get some back rubs. Now think about it, a huge and strong fish that isn't aggressive towards humans. It routinely comes to the surface to be cleaned, and in doing so, it considers humans as kind of seagulls. Turns out if you grab the sunfish, you can save yourself from drowning? Sounds a bit weird, but the theory is really interesting. Oh, and don't forget that the sunfish lives quite deep. Perhaps a human could just use it as a ride to the surface? Didn't find any research on this subject, so if you're into marine biology, not a bad idea for a thesis. Actually, when it comes to parasites that make poor animals so desperate they have to ask for help, I immediately think of some vile worms. But here we have something more exciting. Pinella are copepods that attach to hosts and enter into their skin. They don't drink blood or get somewhere into the intestines. Most often they target muscles, sometimes subcutaneous fat deposits. In general, the most nutritious spots. At first glance, these guys look pretty harmless. Well, most wild animals have some kind of parasites. Should they actually get rid of them? Turns out they really should. Studies say these copepods can seriously damage animals' hearts. Yes, they're not interested in internal organs, but the heart is also a muscle. After damaging it, Pinella immediately take away so many health points from their host, it may well die in the cruel, wild nature. But the most annoying thing is that these parasites are very common problems for many marine creatures. Some species of crustaceans even target cetaceans. But don't think whales are big enough to ignore the parasites. Copepods can reach 12 inches long. 12 inches! This is simply impossible to ignore, not to mention any barnacles, so the whales are also ready to accept help from humans, though in a bit different way. In 2018, off the coast of California, a whale jumped right onto the front of a boat. Just imagine, you're sailing in a nice company, you can see several whales nearby, we're busy having lunch. Everything seems to be completely fine. When suddenly one of them breaches the water. The hit was so strong it damaged the boat. The whale left quite a few barnacles on the deck, and it looks like it got hurt. But it didn't get too upset and just kept eating while the people tried to recover from the shock. It was as if it decided to use the boat for a good scratch, to exfoliate the skin. Okay, let's be honest. This case is unique. Usually whales don't use boats to get rid of parasites. Well, boats aren't very strong. They often turn over, and people in them usually aren't too happy about it, which is why whales are looking for rocks. Once a year, they go to shallow areas where they rub against rocks, shedding their skin, and along with it, parasites. Kind of like a whale rejuvenation treatment. Late summer, warm water, easy access to food. Even whales need to relax from time to time. I'll do this 3 times a day and you'll forget about parasites. But I started talking about whales not only to feel jealous of them. Don't look at me like that, Steve. There's one famous story. Marine biologist Nan Hauser was swimming near the Cook Islands when a huge humpback whale started pulling her out of the water. For 10 minutes straight, it kept pushing the woman with its head, stomach, and fins, and he did it very carefully. And when I say carefully, I mean that an animal weighing almost 23 tons didn't injure the woman in any way, although it can break all the bones in a human body with just one fin. Later, Nan saw that a 13-foot tiger shark was swimming nearby all this time. The whale was just protecting the woman. So, for them, we aren't just owners of boats they can use for scratches. I think we have a fair question here. Why do some marine animals actually interact with people? I mean, they don't always fear us, they don't kill us for food, and they rarely attack us. Instead, they help us. There may be several reasons for that, of course. If you've been following my channel for a while, you probably know many animals generally try to stay away from humans just to be safe. Also, we're not part of their regular menu, but there is more. Perhaps whales, dolphins, and orcas are just too similar to humans. Let's not judge by appearance. Let's look at the intellect. And whoa, we have a lot in common here. Dolphins use tools, orcas call each other by their names, and sperm whales have even invented dialects. They all learn by observation, live in tight-knit groups, can babysit babies of their kin. Some scientists suspect marine mammals even know how to gossip. Given this set of skills, can't they consider humans their very distant relatives? Or even read their emotions? After all, whales and dolphins are quite capable of empathy when it comes to other whales and dolphins. So why wouldn't they learn to understand humans? By the way, since I mentioned the dolphins, let's get back to that dolphin from the beginning. The one that saved the schooner Brendel? This was not some unknown dolphin that one day accidentally appeared in the channel. His name was Pelorus Jack, and he's been guiding the ships for 24 years. Almost every ship that entered the strait was under his protection. And just so you understand, his help was really necessary. The width of the French Pass is only 1,640 feet, but the channel, that is the safe passage, is only 330 feet wide. Don't forget about powerful currents, very deep underwater pits, a reef, and you get a place that's better to be avoided. But the ships had to take that route. Luckily, they had Jack. Many sailors and travelers knew him. Jack was mentioned in local newspapers and depicted in postcards. Moreover, he became the first sea creature protected by law. Jack was last seen in 1912. He may have been a victim of fishermen, but most likely he died of natural causes, saving many human lives. Yet it's not clear why dolphins help sailors. There have been cases where dolphins have protected shipwrecked humans while they waited for rescue, and there are so many examples of other assistance that can be found in both ancient Greece and in modern headlines. Dolphins seem to enjoy helping people? Perhaps they consider us their younger siblings, poorly adapted to life. Or maybe dolphins have such developed empathy that they're ready to save any animals that are more or less close to them in terms of intelligence. In 2008, a dolphin named Moko suddenly came to the rescue of 2 pygmy sperm whales stranded in the shallow water. People spent an hour and a half trying to get the sperm whales back into the ocean, but every time they found themselves stranded on the beach again. Most likely, they kept getting disoriented and didn't know where to swim. And then Moko appeared. He pushed in between the people and sperm whales, and then the animals began communicating. I don't know what exactly the dolphin told these poor guys. Perhaps he hinted that the coast is damn different from water. Anyway, the pygmy sperm whales listened to Moko, and he led them to a safe depth. If you look at that, dolphins might even be better lifeguards than humans. Well, they're certainly better at swimming, staying in the water for a long time. Supporting some humans until other people come after him is not a problem for dolphins. In August 2021, a swimmer missing for almost 12 hours off the coast of Ireland was discovered among a pod of dolphins. They were the ones that drew the attention of the rescuers because, well, you can miss one man or one dolphin, but not the entire pod. The swimmer was exhausted, but alive, and was immediately taken to the hospital. But you know what? All these stories about how dolphins saved, helped to find, protected someone, or generally behaved like true heroes, they're real, no doubt here. But few people think this heroism has a downside. It's often called the survivorship bias. We have a lot of information about dolphins helping people, but almost no data about attacks, attempts to drown them, or other terrible things, especially when they're successful. Yes, dolphins come to our rescue, but who knows how many people drowned because these animals just had fun with them? How come this poor swimmer off the coast of Ireland was so far from the shore? Of course, I'm not saying that dolphins are actually incredibly evil and only win our trust in order to gradually drown all humans. But still, think about it. In the meantime, here's an ambiguous and actually pretty sweet story for you. In the municipality of Laguna in Brazil, bottlenose dolphins herd fish right into the fishermen's nets. And soon as the prey is in the right zone, the dolphins splash the water to alert people. About 50 dolphins act like shepherd dogs, guiding the fish in the right direction, while the rest of the pod watches from afar. Maybe it's something like a show for them. According to local fishermen, this behavior's been going on for generations. That is, dolphins teach their babies to help humans, passing on the information. It's just not clear why. Animals don't get any food, fishermen have never tamed them. This can't be out of pure altruism, can it? I mean, dolphins are, of course, incredibly smart, have emotions and all that, but they are still animals. And then Steve reminded me of one very important thing. Dolphins really love to play. They spend most of their day playing, catching waves, doing somersaults by jumping out of the water, chasing each other, playing with any objects and creatures they come across. Scientists noticed that different pods of dolphins have different games. They're passed down from generation to generation, so maybe helping people with fishing is also just one of their traditional games. Makes sense. Dolphins get their entertainment by herding fish and teaching this to their offspring. Who could expect animals to have such traditions? What's next? Dolphins' military dynasty? Actually, I wouldn't even be very surprised, because dolphins really, served in the Army. The armies of the USSR and the USA used to train marine mammals for various purposes. Dolphins could rescue missing people, protect warships from enemy divers, clear mines, and also help search for lost equipment. And don't think that today dolphins no longer serve in the military. Many countries still train them, and some even talk about using dolphins as a weapon? But this is a story for another time. See you later.